Alright, now it should work. That's good. Alright, hello. Alright. Alright, is it work? Does it work? Alright, now it should work. That's good. Alright, hello. Alright, yeah, my mic works. That's good. Gee, alright, I've never used this engine before, so this would be new for me. Alright, how you doing, Jazz? Come on, Andy, you should be working right now. Unity? Come on, Andy, it's been like 3 minutes. Alright, it opened. That's good. Now I'm just keep putting down some non-copyright.
crazy sounds in here.
And now I'm just importing some stuff, so now again. Right now I'm at this and it's a game like this and Mario. 3D objects, right? I have maybe 50 extensions. All the way down. Nice. Huh. Alright. Well, I'll just make the player controller first and in the original game it was a 4x3 I was playing.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Blackthorn Prod. Noah here, and today we will learn how to make sprite sheets in Photoshop and then import those into Unity to make game-ready animations. For those having followed the two previous videos on how to draw and animate pixel art game characters, this is the final follow-up tutorial in which you'll learn how to get those cool animations into Unity. If you haven't watched those pixel art related videos though, but have some cool animations ready to be brought into Unity, then of course this video will also guide you step by step along the way. So here's a very simple animation of a jumping slime creature made using Photoshop's timeline. I now want to import this into Unity. Sadly, there isn't any export animation option inside of Photoshop. So to do so, we need to make a sprite sheet, which as you'll see is really easy. Before creating my sprite sheet, I'll head over to image size, and note down somewhere my current image's width and height, which in my case is 34 pixels for width and 39 for height. I'll then count the number of images making up my animation, which in my case is 6, and multiply my width with that number of images, which for me ends up as a value of 204. Now I can create a new Photoshop file and type in the right dimensions for my sprite sheet. So 39 pixels for height and 204 pixels for width. This way I'll have enough room to place all the images making up my animation one next to the other. Awesome. However, this white rectangle doesn't give us much indication of where our various images should be placed. To help ourselves out, we can enable the Photoshop grid under the View Show menus. This will render out a bunch of lines which will make placing our images a lot more easy and accurate. Your grid, however, may look like a complete mess. Head over to Preferences, Guides, Grids, and Slices. Once you're satisfied with your sprite sheet, it's time to save it inside of your Unity project.
It doesn't show me anything.
What's up guys, Justin here with the realtimeessentials.com. So in today's video we're going to talk about how to import sprite sheets into Unity and use them to create animations. And you want to make sure that you've gone to your Unity registry and you've enabled 2D sprite right here. So 2D sprite is going to give you the
Alright, that's one for sure. Yep. Come on.
the ability to create an editor or use a editor window in order to basically split up the different sprites so that Unity can read them. We'll talk more about that in a second, but make sure that you have this installed. So next we're going to download our asset pack. So you can download this particular asset pack by going to this is one that I found on itch.io. I will link to this in the notes down below. It's from Brulov. So you can either download it for free, or when you click on the download button right here, you can name a price and you can support the. It's basically just going to treat this as if it was a regular. Look at it, it's basically just going to treat this as if it was a regular image, right? So it's just treating it as like a regular image file. So what we want to do is we want to go into this drop down right here for the texture type, and we want to select the option for sprite, 2D, and UI. And so once we've selected sprite, 2D, and UI, the first thing we want to do is we want to set our sprite mode to multiple, right? Because there's going to be multiple sprites contained inside of this file. Well, once we've selected multiple, then we can go down and we can click on the option for Sprite Editor, which will only show up if you enabled that sprite function from inside of the package manager. But now if I click on this, and it's going to ask me to apply these settings, I'm going to say OK. If you click on this, what that's going to do is that's going to pop up a window that's going to allow you to dictate the separation between the individual sprites in here. So For example, on this one, what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to slice this up. And so the way that
Alright. Yep. Apply.
I usually do this is I usually do this by cell count because these are usually in here.
What the? Of course, I accidentally tap on a cord to turn off my monitor. That's fun. Why is it blurry? Hmm. Hmm.
Here pretty uniformly. I'm just going to tell this that this contains
Spread editor. Alright, so alright. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Big Mario, crouch, right, and then jump left, left, no, it's left, Big Mario underscore, sprint, sprint, right, walk, left, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, idle, left, Big Mario, idle, right, Big Mar, Big Mario, underscore, walk, right, 0, 1, and Mario Big underscore, sprint, left, Mario Big, underscore, sprint, right, like, jump, Big Mario underscore, crouch, Big Mario, Big Mario. I'm just going swimming left. Zero. One. Two. Zero. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Right. One. Two. Zero. Just one. Zero. One. Zero. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Alright. Mario Sprite. Oh, McDonald, Hanover. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells on the C direction. So I'm just going to type in a value of 6 right here. And I'm going to click on the slice button. What that's going to do is that's going to split this up. It's basically going to split this up into 6 different pieces. So you could also add a little bit of padding in here if you wanted to. So you could add some like 10 padding or something like that. In this case, I don't really like what that did, but you could use that if you wanted to add a little bit more spacing between these. I'm just going to do a Control Z. I'm going to leave it as is, and I'm going to click on Slice. And so what that's done is that's basically sliced this up into these 6 different pieces. Well, now we can come up here and we can click on the option for apply. There's other functions in here too. So like for example, if you're having trouble seeing this, like if you have gray colors like smoke that match with the background, you can click on this option right here in order to see this a little bit better. But we're just going to click on the button for apply. And so once we do that, what that's going to do is that's going to basically apply this so that Unity can read each one of these individually, right? So now we're going to close out of this window right here because we don't need it anymore. And notice how now if you click on this, there's a little play button. The play button is going to show you the individual sprites that are contained in here like this. And so we could dump these into like a particle system or something like that. For what we want to do right here though, I just want to drag these into my scene. So I'm just going to, you don't want to drag it onto your surface right here because it's going to try to apply that as a material. Instead, I'm just going to move to where I can see some 3D space, and I'm just going to drag this in. Notice how when I drag this in, what this is going to do is this is going to automatically try to create an animation from the sprites that you dragged in. So in this case, I have an animations folder right here, and I'm just going to call this.
Alright, so I think I know what to do now. Alright, now I'm going to also create a 2D component. Physics 2D box. is not what I want. Off. One. Um, Make it so that there's only one. Zero. Now I am play. Is there no such thing as a player control? No, that's just hi. How to how to make
I'm Mike Hamra, and I'm running for governor. I was born and raised in Southwest Missouri, where my family restaurant business was born. But
a moving and jumping player is the foundation of every platformer. And some of you have asked me if I could make a simple tutorial about player movement with Unity's old input system. So let's boot up Unity and see where the magic happens. I set up a small demo scene with some platforms, and each one of them has a sprite renderer and a box collider 2D. I also created some folders and imported my player sprite as well as a simple square for my platforms. Okay, let's create an empty game object called player and reset its position, rotation and scale. Next, we add a sprite renderer to our player and select our player sprite. To be affected by Unity's built-in physics engine, our player needs a rigid body 2D and a box collider 2D. I like to increase the gravity scale a little bit, but that's entirely up to you. Afterwards, we set the collision detection to continuous, the sleeping mode to never sleep, and the interpolation to interpolate. We don't want our player's rotation to be affected by physics, so make sure to check freeze rotation. Let's create another empty game object called groundcheck as a child of our player and position it right at our player's feet. Now it's time to give our player the ability to move and jump. Let's add a script to our player and open it. it up. First of all, we need 4 private and jump. Let's add a script to our player and open it up. First of all, we need 4 private variables. A float for the horizontal input, a float for the speed, a float for the jumping power, and the boolean that indicates whether our player is facing left or right. Next, we need 3 serialized fields to reference
No.
the rigid body, the ground check and the ground layer.
Alright, now. Uh-oh.
We're going to add the ground layer later in Unity. In the update method, we parse the return value of input.getAxisRaw horizontal into our horizontal variable.
Oh,
This returns a value of either -1, 0 or +1 depending on the direction we are moving. In the fixed update method, we set the x component of our rigid body's velocity to our horizontal input multiplied by our speed value.
really?
Let's create a private method called flip. So if is facing right is true and our horizontal input is less than 0, or if is facing right is false and our horizontal input is greater than 0, we want to flip our player. To flip our player, we set is facing right to its opposite value and multiply the x component of our player's local scale by -1.
Alright, you know, I'm gonna add another side, make it down. I'll just use UI right. This is just the base. Oh, So rigid body, RB. Why is it not showing? Oh, I think it needs. RB2D. Okay, yeah. Save that. Alright. Click again. Should be okay. Let's put that in. Somewhere. This will be somewhere. Put somewhere on there. And then make that round. It no work. Alright, what?
Now we simply call our new method inside the update method.
Okay.
Moving should work fine now, but we're still missing the ability to jump. Let's create another private method called isGrounded that returns a boolean. To check if we are grounded, we use a method with three parameters called physics2d.overlapCircle. The first parameter is the position of the ground check. The second parameter is a small radius of 0.2. And the third parameter is the ground layer. This method creates an invisible circle right at our player's feet, and when it collides with the ground layer we're allowed to jump. So in the update method, if we press the jump button and we are grounded, we jump by setting the Y component of our rigid body's velocity to our jumping power.
I think I realized why it's not letting me move. Why is it not working? Oh, it thinks I'm using this, isn't it? Come on, why is it not working? This is weird. Why is it not letting me move? I'm supposed to go like. No.
And if we release the jump button and our player is still moving upwards, we'll multiply the vertical velocity by 0.5. This allows us to jump higher by pressing the jump button longer and jump lower by just tapping the jump button. Let's save everything and go back to Unity. First of all, I moved our new script to the scripts folder to keep things organized. Next, we need to add a new layer called ground and assign it to every platform. Let's create a physics material 2D, set its friction and bounciness to 0 and drag it onto our player. This prevents our player from sticking to walls. Last but not least, we need to reference the rigid body, the ground check and the ground layer in our player movement script. If we hit play now, we should be able to move and jump.
It didn't work. So you know what? No one's gonna stop me. And plus, that was not blueprints. Yep. This is who I am. Yep. Oh, what? More of those. I swear, those things are what make it move. Okay. So yeah, I got it done. Now I gave you attention, I think I thank you, I thank you for my hand. Alright, so it'd be way easier if it was Unreal Engine, not gonna lie. I give up. No, I give up.